Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Hallmark Guy Podcast. I am Baptiste, the Hallmark Guy, and I am back with the new 2026 Hallmark Channel movie recap and review. This time, talking about The Way to You, which premiered on Saturday, February 7th, 2026, at 8/7 Central on Hallmark Channel, and kicked off 2026 Loveuary. I'm saying kicked off. No, Loveuary started on February 1st, but it kicked off the slate of new movies. Love Yuri movies premiering in 2026, the first one out of four, and it starred Kim Matula and Aaron O'Connell. So let's start first by recapping the movie. So the movie follows Emma, played by Kim, and Conrad, played by Aaron. Emma is a gallerist, and Conrad works in corporate, like does business. He possibly has very important long business trip in Japan coming up. And Conrad is looking for love that he's like his parents, but jumps too fast, and that is not working for him. And Emma just broke up with an artist. She lives with her sister and her husband, and they advise her that if she wants to find someone reliable, she has to go out when corporate people, or at least reliable people, are out. So they advise her to commute with them early in the morning, and she is not a morning person. But she gives it a try and takes the subway. In there, a guy spills her coffee on her, which she takes surprisingly pretty well. And they start talking. Emma even jokes that the coffee could have been spilled on her book, even though she's not holding one. And they talk about art. In the same subway car, Conrad goes after a girl named Simone. He doesn't know that her name is Simone yet. Who we met in the subway halls right before going into the subway car to actually follow her. And in the halls, like the subway halls, she dropped her book and he picked it up and gave it back to her. And for him, it was love at first sight. They talked about art and books, and the power goes out and the subway stops. So they're stuck in it for a few minutes. And when it starts back, Simone and the guy Emma was talking to get off the subway at the next stop. But Conrad wants to see Simone again, so his colleague advises him to put an ad in the city's misconnection column, that is like free newspaper that they give you when you get out of the subway. But without knowing much about her, apart from the fact that she liked a Japanese artist and that she had an out of the ordinary ring, he doesn't have much to say. So he talks about the book and art. The next day, or like a few days after, Emma is back on the subway and hears someone reading the ad out loud. So she thinks it is her. So she decides to meet Conrad. And when they both realize they're not the person they were hoping for, because she thought it would be the guy that she spoke to, they still decide to talk. And Emma knows the Japanese artist Simone liked, so she decides to help him find her. The thing is, Conrad is a very morning and on time person, which Emma is not. But over the time, they're going to meet often, and it's going to work for her. And he will even make her, like running. She will make him know more about art. And Conrad even sets her up with his colleague Aaron, who is not the best match for Emma, but she goes with it and- because, like, she kind of want that type of man in her life. She wants someone in her life. It feels like, at least. And one night, when they are at a bar to celebrate Emma's sister and brother-in-law finding their dream apartment, Emma finds Simone. Problem is, Emma had developed feelings for Conrad. She still introduces them, and Conrad is happy, but we see that they're not, over the time, we see that they're not the best match. She doesn't like planes, and I mean, Conrad has to go to Japan. Do not really understand art the way he understands it now, thanks to spending time with Emma. And you can see that he really wants it to work, so he goes with it, even though he's not into astrology and stuff like that. At least it feels like he's not, but she is, so he goes along with it. The thing is, Conrad will be in Tokyo for 6 months, and he sees that it's probably not going to work for Simone, that kind of being away for that long. Plus, Emma has taken her distance because she thinks he's happy with Simone, and it's tough for her. But he realizes that he misses her and he likes her. So, on his way to the airport, Conrad realizes he can't let Emma go and asks his driver to make a detour to go see her. Like, he has the driver speed, 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 speed. And when he confesses his love, he tells her that since she still does not have an apartment because her sister and husband are moving out and she needs to move out as well. He is going to be in Tokyo for 6 months. She should come with him. And she's like, playing on the I'm not always on time and I'm a morning person. It's like I'm always right behind you. And they kiss, and that was the way to you. So as usual, we'll start with what worked for me. Um, Unfortunately, it's not a lot of things. I'll say more after. At first, I wasn't excited about the concept. I didn't really understand the concept, and it's kind of this, or at least it didn't really excite me. And it's kind of the same with a few of those Loveuary movies, unfortunately. But for this one, I was like, I don't know. It seems like they missed a connection in the subway. What does that mean? Knowing then, seeing the movie, seeing the plot, I'm like, okay, it's new, out of the ordinary, could be fun. So the concept in itself, now thinking about it, y- could have kind of worked for me. We'll see later that for it to really work, would have needed to be done differently. But thinking about the concept, like, okay, it's new, could be interesting. Second thing that worked for me is the actors. We have two actors who've been on Hallmark in the past, not too much, but they've been on Hallmark. Kim has been in a few really claimed Hallmark movies. I think is it Ghost of Christmas Present of Christmas Past, that I think people really like. Um, Let me see. I can't when I It is no Ghost of Christmas Always. Sorry, that I saw in France and really enjoyed it. Didn't think I would. Really enjoyed. I think people really like that one. And Aaron has been in a few, like first one years ago, and I still haven't seen that one. I think it's the 12th Gifts of Christmas. Let me just check the 12th Gift of Christmas. I think it's that one for him. I think it was his first one. 12 Gifts of Christmas. Yes, 2015. Oh, I thought it was 2012. Um, but anyway, so two people that I worked on Hallmark. Um, and Kim, to me, I have a grandma who watches The Bold and the Beautiful, and I grew up watching every other episode or like some episodes when I was with her, and Kim was on The Bold and the Beautiful for a few years, yeah. So of course I feel like it connected in a way to her. I feel like I have to. I'm excited to see someone that is in a show that my grandma loves and that I grew up in a way, even though I didn't see many episodes, but I kind of grew up watching, and it's kind of part of my childhood and still things that I talk about with my grandma, even though I'm not watching. I can tell her the promos that I see here in the US and be like, oh, you have no idea what's coming your way in 10 months. Because we're 10 months apart between the US and France. So I like that. I think that someone from that show that is, it's not a big part of my life, and at the same time, it's a big part of my life. Like it's something everyone in my family knows that my grandma watches The Bold and the Beautiful. So I liked that, and they are two very good actor. I think I even watching the movies, like Kim's really, really giving a great her great performance in this movie. So the two actors made it work for me. Unfortunately, those are the only two things that worked for me for this movie. So let's move on to what I did not like, and I couldn't really figure it out. And then I was on Letterboxd earlier today and looking at comments, and someone said it felt very bland. And yeah, kind of. And I think it's a mix of multiple things. I think that first of all, the looks of the movie. Someone said the coloring and yeah, I don't know. Move visually, it felt bland, and to me, it reminded me a lot of the movie Made for Each Other with, unfortunately, Aaron again. Nothing against him, but he was in that movie that premiered in, I want to say 2023. I'm looking it up as I'm speaking, and that was also a Love Your movie, and yeah, 2023. It was to me a very very weird concept of a movie that I would not want to rewatch and I didn't like, and visually it kind of felt the same, and someone said it didn't look like a Hallmark movie, and I don't agree at the same time agree, but yeah, it seemed bland, it seemed cold, which I mean, it's a winter movie, but visually it didn't work for me. And I was like, that's not what I'm looking for a Hallmark movie. And it's very tough to explain what, but yeah, I was like, this is not very, I don't know, compared to other Hallmark movies, I don't know, I was a little thrown off by it. And the other thing is that I didn't feel like much was happening. I ended up writing a pretty okay recap lengthwise, but at first I was like, in 3 sentences, I can recap that movie. Uh, Actually, no, but yeah, I didn't feel like much was happening. I feel like, and then when they found Simone, I was like, oh, well, we still have like a long time to go. And I mean, it makes sense now because she would develop then, stepping back because she likes him and all that. But I don't know. I feel like I would have liked more steps of them trying to find Simone and less her talking about apartment with her sister, I guess. So yeah, and the final thing that I think really didn't help is that we know in the end they're going to end up together, and that's not a problem. That's not the problem here. Is that the goal throughout the movie though was to help Conrad find Simone. So it was tough to root for them and to really get into the relationship and to the potential relationship and see the connection between them. And I mean, you could say it's the same in a lot of Hallmark movies, they're with someone and then they're breaking up by the end because the guy's not the bad guy, the guy's the bad guy, whatever. But yeah, there's always often someone is already in a relationship or looking for a relationship and then in the end ends up with the other person. So it's not new in Hallmark that the goal is not to pair them together right away. But I don't know why for this one, it felt it felt like more difficult to root for them because the very big goal of Conrad, I mean, Conrad was in love, at least it felt like it, with Simone. So it was really, really tough because, in other movies, when there's already a relationship, but you can see that the relationship's not going well. But here, like for the first part of the movie, the guy really wants to find Simone. So it's tough to root for them because of that. Um, and then them I understand, but that them kind of settling because Emma sees Aaron's not the guy, but like to me, it felt like she wanted to settle, so let's go with it. And then Conrad kind of the same. He felt so much for Simone at first that then when he realizes that it's not working, he's like, well, kind of let's continue to go with it. So that doesn't help. Either that adds to the fact that it doesn't help. So those were the things that I did not like. Some things to point out, and it's honestly it's nothing. I was sure when I was looking at the movie to look it up because I needed to DVR it. I was sure the movie was called Misconnection, and I mean Misconnection is the name of the column, but I was like, we had missed the boat the week before. We're having Misconnection this week. Well, no, it's called The Way to You, but I thought it was called Misconnection, and then when I watched it, I thought there's something wrong. They're in the subway before the power goes out, and the guy on the intercom says, "Next stop, Canal Street." And then subway stops, and then they start again, and they didn't stop at a stop yet. And it's like next stop, something another stop. I'm like, wait, they missed the stop. And then looking back today to write my recap, maybe I misheard. I don't know what I heard, but the guy says Canal Street twice. Another thing is, and maybe I don't know subways enough, and maybe they didn't show us something, but so when Conrad gets into the subway car, he passes Emma, when he's looking for Simone. And then we can see him later with Emma is kind of like in the back of the subway car. And then when he's with Simone, he's not in the back, but kind of like in the middle, but from where he is, we would be able to see Emma in the background, and she's not there, meaning that he's in another subway car. But the subway in what we saw didn't stop. So like, and I don't think you can move from car to car in a subway. So it's either they don't care and they're pretending he moved from a car to another car, or they didn't show us a stop and he got out and then got into the other car. I don't know. But that's also kind of irrelevant. That's just me being picky. So final thoughts. I didn't have the best time, not the best way to kick off Loveuary for me. I gave it 2 stars, which I'm asking, and I've been asking myself this with some Christmas movies as well. What's wrong with me? Because I only see positive reviews and people who loved it. So yeah, but I didn't really like it. So 2 stars. Um, I want to be excited about Loveuary. I think that Hallmark, Hallmark is Christmas, but is very seasonal. So and with the cards, Valentine's Day is such a huge, holiday for them as well. So I want to be excited about those movies. Reading this, I'm excited about the stars. Reading the synopsis is I'm not that excited yet, but in the past when I haven't been excited, I've been pleasantly surprised. So hopefully, and I'm looking forward to the next 3 because I really love the people that are in it, and hopefully I will like the movies. So make sure to come back for those reviews. Make sure to follow the Instagram at the Hallmark Guy Podcast. Post clip from the podcast, and then I also do Instagram exclusives like reels and some posts with my rankings. I'm going to talk about. I started watching when calls restarted watching when calls hard. I'm going to talk about it probably mostly on there, and I'm making progress. Which when I'm saying I'm making progress is that in a week, in 4 days, 3 days, I watched 3 episodes. I need to watch episode 4 of season 1. So hopefully I'll be caught up for season 14 next year. But yeah, follow the Instagram at the Hallmark Guy Podcast. Subscribe, like, comments on here. Tell me what you thought in the comments. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.